Hello, this is Mai from my Serenity Space, and today I want to talk about my 1-year-old journey about my cancer, Mr.C. And I was wondering, should I talk about it or I shouldn't? But I thought somebody might get some help through my video, so I'm going to talk about it. Okay, so today so many things have been cut on my tongue, so it's kind of hard for me to talk. But today I'm at the park, I'm earthing, so best place to talk about it. So I hope you can hear me out. And I also wrote my journey, how it's been. So I'm gonna talk about that, all right? So today, I think July 17th or 18th, it's been 1 whole year since I was diagnosed. And I took the very first mammogram in May. My whole time, 57 years old, never had any mammogram, never had any big health issues. And universe was sending me all the messages every day, text message, email, phone calls, get mammogram every day for a few months. But I ignored the whole sign. I was like, no, why do I have to do it? I've got small boobs, so why? I don't need to go through this. So I ignored the whole sign. But I felt something was weird, and one of my dear friends, she's a nurse, and she told me you should go for the mammogram testing. So in May 2024, that was the very first time I did the mammogram, and they contacted me right after. And around that time, I was also doing glaucoma surgery. So I was like, oh my God, what's going on with me? But anyway, I did the glaucoma surgery, and then I waited, I think, for a few months because I did the biopsy and another mammogram and ultrasound and stuff in July. And July 18th is the day I got diagnosed. But anyway, biopsy was very, very, very painful. I never thought I was going to get needle into my nipple. It was freaking painful. And at the end, I fainted. But I told the nurse that I have frankincense in my bag, so bring me the frankincense. Once I sniffed, I was able to wake up, and also I asked them to give me chocolate. If I don't eat sugar, I faint. So I ate, and I was fine after that. That was July, and I didn't see the oncologist up until September. There was nothing available, so I waited, but I started the restriction for my food diet since July after I got diagnosed. No sugar, no carbs. So I lost like 15 pounds right away. I became like a 90 pound, but nobody could tell like I looked too much bones. But whenever I put the bikinis on, I'm like, oh my gosh. It was a little weird, but it was easier for me to move around and walk and working, and so I feel better when I'm lighter, you know. But I feel like I needed some strength. But anyway, my story goes back and forth. But anyway, going back to the oncologist. When I got to the oncologist the very first time, I don't remember much about it, but the oncologist said, your case, people used to die from what you have. And so my recommendation is chemotherapy and surgery and radiation. I was like, what the? After he said it, I cried and I don't remember anything. And I was with one of my dearest friends. She was the one taking care of the whole conversation with the doctor. Doctor was asking, do you have any family members have cancer? Who is your primary doctor? And my friend had to tell the oncologist, doctor, Mai never go to the doctor's office. Mai has no clue. She doesn't know anything. Yeah, that's who I was. And so I rejected what I was told from the oncologist. So I went back to the oncologist again in October, and he was saying the same thing. I didn't want to do the Western way, but I agreed because I researched and I talked to so many people. They said you have to do chemotherapy. I was like, no way. But I was like, okay, I'm gonna do it. I thought I surrendered at that time, but later I realized I was not surrendering that time. So in October, again, I was with my same friend, and so I started become more strict with the food diet. I don't even remember. I think I was not eating any protein that time. I was just eating vegetable. But my friend told me, you gotta eat protein. So I started eating a lot of proteins, and I started gaining more weight and started feeling more strong. And then around that time, wait, hold on. I'm missing something. Oh, you know what? My husband was in hospital since July or August, back and forth. So for me, I still don't think like I have Mr.C issue. I don't call it cancer. And I was too busy thinking about him to get better because he was dying in the hospital so many times. I was too busy taking care of him, just going to the his doctors. I was the one talking to every single doctors, and I know I'm not allowed to record anything, but I was recording every conversation I had with doctor because I wanted to make sure I understand. The funny thing is, I can take care of other people, but when it comes to my own stuff, it was very hard. But my husband, he doesn't remember anything right now because he was unconscious most of the time, and he was medicated, and I was just busy him to get better. So I couldn't really focus on my health. You know, when you are in my shoe, probably you would feel the same thing. You don't really want to face yourself, you know. So in October, the oncologist told me, go see your surgeon, go see your radiologist, and do this heart testing, PET scan test, and you have to have this port. I was like, okay. So I was trying to do everything what oncologist told me, but I didn't know what this port was, and I supposed to put the port right away. But when I did the heart testing in the hospital, I also the same hospital was going to give me this port plant. So I was like, okay, why don't I just talk to the people about this port? And luckily, I was able to talk to people. And then I knew what this was because I had no idea. If I was just listening to whatever the oncologist was telling me, I wouldn't be here the way I wanted to do, you know, because people who are going to give me port, they said, once you plant the port, which means you agree to do a chemotherapy, and you're not allowed to take shower, you're not allowed to do this, you're not allowed to do that. There's so many restrictions, especially getting into the ocean. There was no way. I was like, what the? You know, even during the biopsy, after the biopsy, I was not allowed to get into the ocean for a while. Even the doctor said only 1 week to recover. It took me a long time to recover from the biopsy. It was very, very painful. And so I refused to do the port. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to do it. So I waited because I had to have one big test, which was the PET scan. PET scan is about to check if the cancer has spread to the other part of my body. And so I said, I want to do that test first. If that test, I still have Mr.C, I will do it. So I took test, I don't remember, the end of November or beginning of the December. But anyway, the PET scan test showed there's something. So I finally surrendered that I'm gonna plant the port. So I planted the port. It was not fun. I was so high after the port because, you know, I was on a lot of medications, but I was dealing with a lot of pain because of my shoulder, and I like to move my body, but I was not allowed to move anything. So I was like, And then I went to acupuncture, and acupuncturist was a little bit helping me to ease my pain. And then what happened? I think around that time, right before I was planting the port, my husband was home because, like I said, he was back and forth to the hospital, home, and but he was really bad, so he wanted to check himself into the hospital, which is very rare. But I took him to the emergency room again, and he got hospitalized one day before my port planted day. And after I got planted port, I got a call from the hospital about him getting a ventilator. I was like, what is a ventilator? And I happen to have a best friend who is a nurse, so she was at my house and she told me all the details, what the ventilator was. And I supposed to do a chemo in mid-December before Christmas. But because my husband was hospitalized and he was on a ventilator for weeks and he was unconscious, so there was no way I could do that. So I delayed, and I did I did the chemo January 9th. And funny thing is that my very first oncologist moved to a different state, so oncologist has changed, and I met a very nice female surgeon, but her team contacted me that they are not going to accept my insurance anymore, so the whole member completely changed. So now I have a really great oncologist and a surgeon. So what I did from the chemo was that I'm gonna talk a different video about the chemo stuff. I did 6 chemos every 3 weeks. My side effect was not too bad compared to most of the people, so doctors was really surprised. And I did my best not to lose my hair and everything, but doctors were saying that the chemos I'm going to receive was one of the strongest one, and they've never seen a person who hasn't lost the hair. So I was like, no, I'm going to be the first one. But unfortunately, I lost my hair, started gradually losing hair from the first chemo, 10 days or 15 days after. But during the chemo, it was of course tiring, but I was walking every day, even 5 minutes. You know, I like the earth. I like to walk barefoot everywhere. So whenever I had opportunity, I came to the beach or I came to the park and I was walking barefoot. And that was really healing to me. And the hardest part during the chemo was that I kept telling the doctors in the hospital about my husband, please make sure he's gonna be okay when he comes home. After the hospital, he got discharged and he went to the nursing home, but he came home 1 week after my first chemo. It was my birthday, 58th birthday, and I was happy him coming home. But 2 days after he got discharged, he fell down from the 2nd story to the 1st floor. That was not easy. So up until like my 5th chemo, we were arguing almost all the time because I didn't know what to do with him. I didn't know how I can take care of myself, and I couldn't do anything for him. He said he can do everything by himself, but I'm the kind of person who wanna control everything, trying to help him as much as I could. But around the 5th chemo, he was getting better, so he started helping me out a little bit too. But he has to go through a lot of the doctor's appointment, doctor's contact. Because here he's been going through so much medications and his brain can't function. So I was like, I'm gonna do that. So again, I was busy, not myself, about him. But maybe that's kind of way helps me not to focus too much on the Mr.C cancer issues, because I never feel like I have it. You know what I mean? So I am doing whatever I could, and I started eating as much as I can. Doctor never say like you cannot eat this food. They never say like don't eat sugar and stuff like that. They're like eat whatever you want. 2 things you cannot do: no acupuncturist, no sushi. That's it. And so I started eating during the chemo. I was lucky I was able to eat as much as I wanted because my body wanted. So I gained weight. I went back to like 100 pounds. So I just surrendered for the whole procedures, and I just have a faith in God, and I trusted all the process. And of course, sometimes I was angry with myself. How come I can't get up? How come I can't do this? Sometimes I was comparing myself with others, but I'm like, no, I gotta be nice to myself, kind to myself. More I became kinder to myself, I started becoming kinder to my husband too. Because during this whole process, my relationship with my husband completely transformed, So that's been very helpful. So the 6th chemo finished the end of April. And then right after 6th chemo, my hair started growing back. My hair was still losing up until the 6th chemo, little by little, but I think I still have a little bit, but hair started growing back so fast because I'm doing some good stuff. That's another video. But anyway, today, July, finally I got a call from the doctor's office, and I'm going to have a first surgery. They said I'm going to have 3 surgery, one for the mastectomy and 2 others for reconstruction. So let's see how it's going to be. And I never had surgery in my life except my eyes. Never been in the hospital, so I feel a little nervous about it. And I'm kind of hoping that when I am going to the surgery operation table, they said, oh, this girl is lucky. The whole tumor is gone, so she doesn't need to have surgery. That's kind of I'm hoping, But anyway, I just wanted to share this is my 1-year journey. And I'm sorry, I wanted to say a lot more, but it's hard for me to really talk. It's so many things being cut. And I don't know why, but it's, I think, part of the side effect or something like that. Even the chemo is done, still I deal with some side effect. My legs get tired and stuff like that. But good thing is that I am doing some exercise. I'm building my muscles, and I'm back to the ocean surfing, because that's what makes me feel so happy. And I feel thankful for every single one of you helping me, supporting me. And without my friend's support, I wouldn't able to make it. And also my husband's love. I truly appreciate his existence, I thought I was going to go through this all by myself. But even I was fighting with him sometimes, I felt glad that he was home. So if something happened to me, because of course I was terrified how my side effect is going to be from the chemo and stuff. But I truly appreciate everybody, and so much things I am learning, and so many people have been helping me. So I want to talk about stuff like that in the next video. But anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I enjoy walking as much as I can, also walking as much as I can. So anyway, thank you so much for watching for this long video. Bye for now.